Hey guys, what's up? Today we'll talk about why companies need outsourcing services, right? But why even they consider on the first place to go to outsourcing service, right? There's a lot of reasons, but we're gonna go with four of them. Uh, so the first one is cost, right? They want to save costs because let's choose the topic like the industry. Let's go with IT only, okay? Uh, Developers, it's obvious reasons, right? And most people then they know this. In Southeast Asia, in India, even in Central Asia now, right? In Eastern Europe, hiring a developer is much more cheaper rather than in Western Europe or in the States, right? Or in Japan or Korea. That's why it's for them, it's much more easier and cost effective to hire people from there or to work with the companies who offer outsourcing services, software outsourcing services, right? Who can deliver the product on time and then hit the deadlines and etc. Right? So the first one is cost. The second one is qualified team, right? What they need goes outsourcing services, qualified team. Let's say you have a few developers in your team, right? But most of the companies, they don't hold the DevOps guys, right? It's kind of becoming trendy nowadays because they're really expensive. And the second reason is you don't need them all the time. If you have like developing one product, the setup process would be one time only, right? But if it's a small one, if it's a big project, it's a different case. So in that case, they're going particularly for that skilled person who can help them to solve their problem. So this is the second reason. And the third reason is save time, right? Because of time. These are the two things that are really important. Time. Let's say you are making a product that has to be launched in a few weeks. But if you have limited people in your team, it's impossible to do that, right? This is almost difficult to get to hit the deadline, for example. So in that reason, what you're going to do, you hire or go with other companies. At least you outsource that job for outsourcing services. And the last one is, I don't know how to label it. It's a bit difficult, but let me explain first. There are certain companies that they don't have problems with these three. Usually they are the biggest companies, right? For example, it's a real case. I used to work in a company in Korea. It's a marketing agency it was, and for a couple of months. And we had a client, Samsung. So they had this monitor that they wanted to promote in different countries, and they hired that company as a marketing agency. And I thought, so it is the biggest company, right? They didn't have, or still they don't have problems with cost, right? When they're considering, they have the money, right? And they have the time. And they have the team, the qualified team. Of course, the Samsung is the biggest company, one of the biggest companies in South Korea, and they had all these three. But still, they were using this third-party company who were helping them with marketing. And I have some few thoughts about this, why they need it, but it took me time to understand it. The first reason is they want to play safe, you know, in the case of if something happens for the product, right? Or for example, they can shut down the project, right? So in that case, it is easier for them to cut all the costs right away. For example, let's say to promote that product, Samsung hired the internal people, right? Internal people for the company, and when decision changes, they had to fire those people, right? Or find them a new projects to work on. But what if they don't have it, right? And usually in the biggest companies, there's a problem with, it's not easy to hire people, then fire them, right? And it's becoming, when the company becomes big and big, even for example, they're working like 3,000-4,000 people working at the company. If you cut people for 10 or 20%, it's not easy to manage that process, right? So I thought, okay, they hire outsourcing services. In the case of in Korea, it was marketing agency, right? When something happens and when something negative happens, or when plans gets changed, right? It's easier for them to cut costs and stop the whole thing, right? And there is a second issue is, it's not an issue, it's also a case. I used to consult with other outsourcing companies, and they offer software outsourcing services, and they told me they have 100 plus developers who were working for biggest banks. It was in a different country. So I thought, okay, even the banks, the biggest banks, one of the biggest banks, they hire other people in different countries, in different company, because of saving sometimes cost as well, but there's additional problems that might happen in the future, so that when something happens, they can cut the costs right away. So for that reason, let's put it free up. No, not free up. Less problems, right? Let's say that. Less problems. So these are the main reasons. And stay tuned. There are going to be more videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.